Hi guys, we are entering right now a new moon lunar cycle that is likely to be quite profound, quite life-changing, and it's also probably going to bring a lot of big shakeups and surprises and shocking things that transpire. But really, everything that happens with this cycle is for the purpose of some type of grand rectification, some type of deep and profound purges and purifications that are really helping us to regenerate and transform in alignment with actually the more Aquarian archetypes that are carrying us forward through this year and into the age of Aquarius. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Monday, September 6th, 2021. My name is Aubrey, and this is my report for the new moon in Virgo that is happening around 8:50 p.m. tonight. And this is going to be a very significant cycle. There is a lot going on in conjunction with this new moon today. It's including literally like every single one of the personal planets. So that tells us that this is going to be bringing these themes and these changes and these transformations to each of us really on a very personal and individual level. And so all of us are likely to experience some things this cycle that are probably going to be difficult, maybe a bit painful, but ultimately it's for the purpose of, like I said, creating this grand rectification and really actually starting to help us heal on very deep levels and rediscover our original power source, what truly fuels and motivates us, and how we can use that to really carry ourselves forward and co-create our futures and our lives going into the future from a much more empowered place and a place of much greater internal wholeness and authenticity and truth. So let's start. First, I'm going to just list off the aspects that are going on in conjunction with this full moon or with this new moon today. The new moon is occurring at 15 degrees of Virgo, and this puts it into an exact trine with the planet Uranus, which is currently at 15 degrees of Taurus. Now, Uranus is the planet associated with, it's like the fixer, the great rectifier. Uranus really can bring a lot of like chaos and shocks and surprises and things happening out of the blue, but when it's operating, any changes that occur are ultimately for the purpose of putting things right, rectifying a situation, and doing so in a way that is much more conducive to genuine truth and authenticity. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and Uranus has been a very active planet this year, making squares to Saturn multiple times. This has been an energetic that's been ongoing all year, and this Uranus activity this year is really doing a lot to help all of us come back into that place of truth, that place of authenticity, and it's throwing things up in the air, and it's really showing us what needs to go so that we can move into this place, come back into proper alignment with ourselves, with our truth, with our authentic nature, so that we can move forward through time, through this paradigm shift right now, and really align with the Aquarian archetypes. Aquarius, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, that can help us transform collectively and transcend into the age of Aquarius, which is the cosmic blueprint destination where we are all headed to at this point in time. So right off the bat, we have the new moon in an exact trine this cycle to Uranus. So we know the Uranus themes of shocks and surprises for the purpose of rectifying things and aligning us with our truth and authenticity are going to be a major theme of what we're dealing with energetically this cycle. Also, we have the North Node, our collective destiny, the path forward, the way that our souls are trying to evolve for our highest and our best, in an exact conjunction with the Black Moon for this new moon in Virgo, which the Black Moon rules our collective shadow side. It rules our subconscious mind, our subconscious programming, sort of like the unseen forces within us that are really very responsible for a lot of the relationships and circumstances and scenarios and experiences that we attract into our lives. And I made a video all about this yesterday. I definitely, or on Friday for over the weekend, and I definitely urge all of you to check that out because it will give you a better understanding of this particular aspect. And this is an important aspect right now because, first of all, it's a 5-day transit. This aspect is going to be in effect through September 8th, but because it is also exact for the new moon today, that means that this is also a theme we will be dealing with this whole cycle. And this really, at the end of the day, is about helping us to really drill down into ourselves, really come back into searching our depths, mining our souls to find our true original source of power and how we can use that to create our future going forward, how we can use that to manifest our life and the experiences that we truly want and desire and deserve in conjunction with God and universe and the divine plan. So we have that going on as well. Also, we have Mars in an exact trine with Pluto for this new moon today. And that tells us that we are really going to be going through this process of very deep and profound and transformative and regenerative transformations, which is really right in alignment with the Black Moon and the North Node, really taking us deep, having us search our souls and come back, find that original source of power. And that is a lot to do with what this Mars trine Pluto is doing for us as well. We also have Venus very active for this new moon today. Venus is at 26 degrees of Libra, and she will be forming a square to Pluto and a trine to Jupiter. And this is going to be doing a lot for us as well in terms of helping to restore our internal value, our sense of self-worth, our sense of self-love, and also our confidence and faith and belief in ourselves. Another dynamic of helping us come back into our power and rediscover our true authenticity and to be liberated from anything that has been prohibiting us from being able to reach that point and to be empowered to create going forward. And finally, we have Mercury, ruler of the Virgo cycle, as Virgo is ruled by Mercury, forming almost an exact opposition to Chiron retrograde in Aries. And this tells me that we are going to be going through a collective healing cycle this cycle as well. And, you know, in order to heal, you have to experience some type of wounding first. And Chiron has a tendency to cause us to experience some type of very painful wounding or very painful trauma for the purpose of really sort of waking us up and getting us to look at our subconscious issues, our subconscious programming, those same Black moon issues, and helping us to learn and understand about the things that have happened to us so that we can really heal and grow and transform and master these experiences and then go on to help others who are struggling with the same things and walking, you know, down the same path. So there is a huge element of healing associated with this new moon as well. But, you know, in order to heal, like I said, we may experience some traumatic events or some very painful wounding that comes in order to really spur us into taking action to go through this healing journey. And it's also the hero's journey. Chiron rules the hero's journey, which is learning through experience and coming into mastery over that experience and then being able to show others the way through that as well. And with Mercury in opposition to Chiron for this cycle as well, we might just generally be thinking a lot about this healing crisis or a healing crisis that we have been experiencing in our personal lives or, you know, collectively on the world stage. So those are the elements, those are the things that we have going on with this new moon today. And like I said, it's literally every single personal planet. We have the sun and the moon, obviously, for the new moon. We have Mars making aspect to Pluto. We have Venus making aspect to Pluto and Jupiter. We have Mercury making aspect to Chiron. And we also have the North Node being affected through the conjunction with the Black Moon as well. So ultimately, what this boils down to is a cycle where we are going to be driven down into the depths of our innermost experiences, and we really need to be very self-analytical, and we need to really start examining what is holding us back and free ourselves, liberate ourselves from that so that we can truly come into standing in our own power. And this will happen through this very intense purge and purification and transformation that we're going to be going on. And this is emblematic of both Uranus's involvement, Pluto's involvement, and the Black Moon's involvement in all of this as well. So let's go back to the top. Now I'm going to explain all of these energetics, how they're working together, and generally what we can anticipate and expect. And I'm going to bring the Sabian symbols into this as well. For those of you who are new to my channel or who don't know about the Sabian symbols, what they are is a group of symbols that represent each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever a planet is at a specific degree, we can look to the symbol, read the symbol, and it basically just gives us a better understanding of the underlying purpose of why this aspect, why this energetic activation is taking place in the unfolding cosmic blueprint, the unfolding astrological energetic story that carries us through time. So I'm going to be bringing those up as well because they just give us more information about why all of these aspects are happening and what universe really wants to teach us through them. So back to the top. The new moon today is happening, like I said, at 15 degrees of Virgo. And this Sabian symbol is a fine lace ornamental handkerchief. And so that is sort of the frequency, the vibration that we are all dealing with for this new moon. And then, of course, it is in an exact trine to Uranus at 15 degrees of Taurus. 15 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus is at currently, is a man with a rakish silk hat, muffled against the cold, braves a storm. And with Uranus in a trine to the new moon at 15 degrees of Virgo, this is definitely going to be bringing some changes, bringing some shocks, bringing some surprises, throwing things up in the air. But because it is a trine, trines are actually beautiful aspects. They're aspects of ease and facilitation and assistance. And when trines are operating, we don't have to try to make things happen. Things just happen, and there's no conflict really in the way that they are happening, in the way that they're occurring. So what this energetic is likely to do for us is to really cause some major upheavals, some major shocks and surprises, but it is so that things can fall back and unfold better in a way that is much more conducive to aligning all of us with our truth and our authenticity. Uranus rules truth, authenticity, originality, and like where we are, like our genuine uniqueness, what makes us special, and how we can cultivate and develop that to really serve the greater whole, the greater good with it, those Aquarian themes. And so we have that going on. And we need to remember, first and foremost, this is a new moon, and it's a new moon in Virgo. And whenever we are in a new moon phase, this is the time where we really want to be making intentions, setting our goals, planting our seeds for what we would like to see grow, develop, and manifest over the course of that cycle. And so with Uranus in a trine to the new moon, exactly, it really tells us that we are going to be, the things that we are growing this cycle are probably going to develop in a way that we wouldn't expect or anticipate, but will ultimately actually probably be much better than we ever could have hoped or wished or expected or anticipated for ourselves. So this is actually I feel like this is a very good aspect to have in conjunction with the new moon. And now, considering the Sabian symbol, a fine lace ornamental handkerchief, this tells me that we actually, when we're going about our lives through the course of this cycle, we need to handle things with a level of like gentleness and a level of care, because things are just a little bit fragile right now. And things are like delicate, but they're facilitated as well. And there is just this grand writing, this grand rectification that is occurring, but we don't want to be like a bull in a china shop with the changes that we're trying to make this cycle. Any impulses, any changes, any spontaneity that comes to you and sort of causes you to want to make impulsive decisions about something, or kind of like change on a dime, or make like quick impulsive actions, we really want to make sure that we're doing it with some grace, with some gentleness, with some like delicateness, and we're not just being like bombastic and like brute force. We kind of want to let things fall into place and not really push them into place with this energetic operating like this, and this being the specific degree that's being referenced. We really just want to let the changes fall into place this cycle and not be a brute driving force behind them. Universe is handling the changes that need to happen. However, if you are feeling called to make some type of abrupt and impulsive, spontaneous change, it is probably actually in your best interest to do so this cycle, since it is the trine and that does facilitate things, and you are likely actually not to experience tremendous levels of conflict as a result from making those changes. Okay, let's see. And this also, you guys, Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus is the planet of the great awakening, and it brings epiphanies and flashes of insight and downloads from the universe. And we are likely, with this in an exact trine to the new moon, to just be organically experiencing some epiphanies about things, some awakenings about things, and enlightenment about something. It's very indicated through this aspect, a grand writing occurring through shocking and surprising change and upheaval. Universe is asking us to be gentle and to take care with whatever is transpiring so we don't damage the delicate creation that is coming into form right now. And this is how I'm seeing this aspect. And I really I can't stress the significance of this new moon being an exact aspect to Uranus. I mean, it could have fallen anywhere in the sign of Virgo, but it fell at 15 degrees, while Uranus is at 15 degrees of Taurus retrograding. And so this is just going to be a very strong and significant influence. This is a very Uranian, changeable, unexpected cycle that we are entering, but it is the trine, and it is definitely going to be rectifying things in some way, even though with Uranus is the silver lining planet, so we may not perceive initially these changes as something positive, but ultimately they will be, and they are for the best. The next aspect that I want to talk about, again, is this North Node in conjunction with the Black Moon. Again, I'm not going to go too much into detail with this today because I just did a report all about it. If you look back over the weekend, that was the theme of my whole report, so you can get all the information that you're looking for there. But generally, this aspect, it's occurring at 6 degrees of Gemini, and that Sabian symbol is workmen drilling for oil. And what this aspect is doing, and the fact that it's exact for the new moon in Virgo, it's really asking us to mine our deepest reservoirs going on in our soul, and to really begin to figure out what truly drives us and fuels us on a very deep and internal level, and how we can really tap into that to create our future going forward. What is our soul's lifeblood deep inside of us that we can tap into and use to carry us forward in a much more authentic and a way that's really truly aligned with our truth and who we really are and what we want to create in our lives. And so we have that going on as well. And this really has a lot to do with, like I said, rediscovering the authentic root of our power. So this is something that we are all going to be working on as well. And it may be happening in a very subconscious way because of the fact that the Black Moon is involved, and this rules our subconscious mind. So our subconscious, figuring it out, discovering it, rediscovering it, and understanding the power and the influence that it really has over the experiences, the relationships, the circumstances that we have going on in our lives, and how we can fix that and use it to create the relationships and the experiences and the circumstances that we truly want to have in our lives going forward. It's sort of like a switch from that power, that Black Moon influence controlling us, to us becoming the masters of our own Black Moon, our own subconscious, really integrating our shadows and being able to finally come into a place where we can utilize that to our benefit instead of it utilizing us a lot of times to our detriment. So that is a very powerful influence that is going on alongside of the trine to Uranus. And honestly, these two things are really working to do the same thing, to reacquaint us with our true authenticity and to wake us up to where we've been going off course and how we can rectify things within ourselves to make a better, more authentic, more fulfilling path going forward, driven by the truth and the power source within, okay? And then we're going to talk about this aspect that we have going on with Mars and Pluto. This is another exact aspect for this day. And this is Mars at 25 degrees of Virgo, coming into an exact trine with Pluto at 25 degrees of Capricorn. And this is profound and deep purification. This is purging. This is regenerating. This is transformation on the deepest possible levels. And also because it's Mars, being very motivated and inspired to really dig down deep into the root of things, much like with the black moon, and make these changes, start acting in ways that help this purification, this regeneration, this transformation come about. Deeply healing. Mars and Pluto are both the co-rulers of Scorpio, and they're in this trine. This is not a square. This is not creating conflict. This is happening organically. This is assisted and facilitated, and this is just going on whether we are trying or not, whether we want to do it or not. It's just it's happening on a very deep level of our psyche, and we are coming into some type of an alignment. We are coming into some type of an energy is facilitating this process of transformation that is really helping us to step back into our power and to realize what we truly hold inside. The degree where Pluto is at 25 degrees of Capricorn for this new moon is a store filled with precious oriental rugs. And this degree is all about the precious value that we hold inside of us. The same thing that the North Node conjunct the black moon is asking us to do, workman drilling for oil, tapping down to the deep source of power that lies inside. And Pluto is also talking about the precious value that we hold inside and being inspired by the fire of Mars. This is just burning through any last remnants that are keeping us from being able to see the true nature of our value and the true power that it represents and its preciousness. Reforming root issues with this, regenerating root issues, and it fits right into all of the other aspects that I've talked about so far. Just this very deep, internal, profound, regenerative, transformative energy that is really trying to reacquaint us with our own internal power and helping us step into that so that we can align with our authenticity and stand in our power to create and co-create with universe and God and spirit and the divine plan our own individual path going forward, which is happening for all of us collectively at this point in time with the North Node being activated. So this is a significant aspect as well. Next, we have Venus. Venus is a significant planet right now as well. She's in her own sign of Libra, very strong, putting an emphasis on relationships and partnerships and finances and also our self-love and our self-value and our self-worth. And she's actually making two aspects for this new moon. She's making both a square to Pluto and a trine to Jupiter. And this is beautiful, you guys, especially in the context of the other energetics that are at play for this new moon today. This is going to be doing so much to help us break out of negative power dynamics, negative power and control dynamics, anywhere where we've been giving our power away because we don't truly understand or have a where we're out of alignment with the true nature of our internal love, our internal worth, and our self-value. This is breaking out of negative power dynamics through an expansion with Jupiter as well. Remember, it's not just a square to Pluto. It is a trine to Jupiter simultaneously. And I really love this because if you've been following my work, you know right now that Venus and Mars are actually on this journey together, which will culminate in March of 2022, when they both simultaneously come into an exact conjunction with Pluto. And what this will do is really reintegrate within all of us the masculine and the feminine archetypes and help us step back into our power, help us to regain our power, to take our power back and to stand in our power, and to no longer be able to be dominated by the forces from the past that have tried to repress and hold back our true value, our true authenticity, and our ability to create with that going forward. This is going to be a very significant period of time. But right now, I find it very interesting that for this new moon, we have both Venus and Mars making aspect to Pluto, knowing that they're on this trajectory together, even though they're separated at this point in time, knowing that they're on this trajectory together where they will both end up with Pluto at the end of it all. This is I feel like this is profound. And the fact that Venus is not only making this square, which is a difficult aspect, which brings up conflict and struggle in terms of breaking out or encountering scenarios where we just give our power away because we don't understand how powerful we really are, because there's something out of alignment in terms of our own self-value, our own self-worth, and our own self-love. So we feel like we need to give our power away so that we can be loved and accepted by really anyone or anything. This is in the process of being rectified. And this square and simultaneous trine to Jupiter is really going to be doing so much to, like I said, expand our self-love and our self-worth and our self-value. And because Jupiter's retrograde, it also has a lot to do with our self-confidence and our faith and our belief in ourselves. And we are rediscovering with this our own internal value, our own internal self-worth, and this is going to be bringing up conflicts and situations in relationships that cause us to break out of anything that is limiting us or prohibiting us or overpowering us or keeping us from coming into that realization of the truth of our internal value, our self-worth, and the love that we have for ourselves, and what that translates to in terms of our ability to, again, step back into our truth, step back into our authenticity, and take our power back from anything that has been mishandling us or abusing us or not treating us as the valuable, precious being that we truly are. And this, again, is going to be happening individually, very personal for a lot of us, and also then, of course, on the collective level as well. The last aspect that I want to talk about today is the opposition that we have going on from Mercury, ruler of this entire Virgo cycle. Mercury rules Virgo, so Mercury is the ruler of the Virgo cycle, and Mercury is in almost an exact opposition to Chiron for this new moon today. So, like I said, again, the way that I'm perceiving this is we may, over the course of this cycle, really experience some kind of ugly things to start it off. We may have to go through some very traumatic or very painful events or circumstances. But if that happens, it is honestly for the purpose of helping us to learn about these things, to understand why we were in this situation, and then to begin to grow and to heal and to learn and to master and to overcome these experiences so that we can move on and help others along that same path, and really be coming from a much more elevated level in terms of our self-mastery through our experiences and the wisdom that comes from that, and our ability to use that experience-based wisdom to begin to co-create our lives going forward from a place that is much more aligned with our truth and our authenticity and our personal, unique, creative self-expression, and from a place that is much more healed and balanced and integrated. Also with this, we're healing our shadow. this could have a lot to do with that as well, considering for many of us, we are going to be really having our shadow brought right into our face with the Black Moon North Node conjunction this cycle, and really having to stare into the depths and the darkness, but then finding the light in that process and growing through it, like I said, and overcoming and coming to a place of mastery that we can then use to carry forward in our lives and to create a future that is more balanced, more aligned, and less likely to result in these traumatic and wounding experiences going forward. So and then, you know, like I said again, Mercury rules the mind, thoughts, communications. So the state of the global health crisis that we are experiencing right now, I expect to be extremely, extremely relevant this cycle, and to bring up a lot of issues, and to be, you know, on everybody's mind and all over the media and what everybody's talking about. But ultimately, we are moving to a place of healing, even if things get worse, before they get better. And this is a holistic healing. Chiron rules holistic medicine. This is not this is a root issue healing. This is not a band-aid on the symptoms. That's really what this cycle is like. It's like we're not healing in a way that just like subverts or alleviates the symptoms of things. We are healing in a way that addresses the root issue, the ultimate cure, and that will help us to be healthier, stronger, wiser, and more whole and powerful going forward into the future, which we really need, because we are headed into what may be a rather rocky fall and winter as we move towards this March of 2022 date, where things are likely to shift a lot. But overall, you guys, a very, very life-changing cycle, activating our deepest traumas so we can heal, overcome, purify, regenerate, and come back into alignment with our true higher selves, step into our power and self-mastery to co-create the direction of our future in correspondence with the divine plan, God, and universe. And this cycle is putting things right, even if we don't perceive it that way at the time. So that's what I have for my report today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can really help you navigate the energetics over the course of this next month, over the course of this next cycle. If you guys liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It absolutely helps my channel to grow when you do that, and I appreciate it so much. Please leave me comments. I love your comments. And tune in tomorrow, everybody, for my astrological outlook of the day, where we will take another step in the direction of the future and analyze the universal story that is coming through to all of us. Thank you guys again, and I wish you a beautiful new moon in Virgo cycle. See you next time.